Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Nanda Kothari and you're on my channel. Call me Nani. So in today's video, I'll give you all the tips and tricks that you would need if you're on a D4 visa or on a D2 visa. Basically, if you're a student in South Korea and you need a part-time job. So a couple of things before I tell you about how to find these jobs. The Korean government has a lot of restrictions on foreign students on in which field they can work and how much they can work and for how long they can work. So basically you can work in specified fields that the government specifies. Either you can work in restaurants, or you could work like an assistant or like do clerical jobs in office, or you can like work in English camps. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, and that's kind of it. You could like do modeling and go on TV shows and stuff if you get the opportunity, because it doesn't really come under the it comes under like the special permission jobs that you could do, and they need to be like one-time jobs. They're not like you have a work contract or something. So for that you don't really need permissions. That you can do freely. So that's the kind of jobs that you can do. Second thing is how much you can work per week. So it's basically 20 to 25 hours a week, excluding weekends and excluding summer and winter breaks. It would be much easier for you to find a job in South Korea if you speak decent Korean. And by decent Korean, I mean if you have like conversational fluency, or I don't know, if you can just have a day-to-day conversation without any problem. And now to the part of the video where I tell you how to find these jobs. In my knowledge, there are basically 5 places where you can find jobs. Number 1, Craigslist. Craigslist is only in Seoul. It's not in other cities of like in Busan or Daejeon, Daegu, all these big cities. They don't have Craigslist. It's literally called Craigslist Seoul. So basically Craigslist is used by people who are actually looking for foreign employees. So it's the starting point where you can start to look for jobs. But Craigslist can be a sketchy place. There are a lot of weird people out there, but there are also legitimate job offers. I actually found 2 jobs on Craigslist. Yeah, my very first part-time job in South Korea was with Asian Boss, and you probably would know Asian Boss. They're pretty big, and I found them on Craigslist. They usually post their job offers on Craigslist. They were looking for a Hindi to English translator, so I applied for it and I got it, and I did translate one of their videos. And after that, COVID happened and their operations kind of slowed down in India, so they didn't really have any videos for me to translate, but it was still a good experience. I still found them on Craigslist. And also my second job my very second job, part-time job, which I'm still doing, it has been almost 7 months now. I also found that on Craigslist. It was a posting they were looking for foreign cooking instructors. Yeah, I just applied, and now I teach Indian cooking every Saturday to Koreans. So yeah, that was Craigslist, and it is a really good starting point. I still always keep checking what's on there. There are sometimes like one-day jobs available. And now the second place where you can look for jobs are the 2 applications that most of the Koreans use to find part-time jobs are Albamon and Albachongo. This is where I found my 3rd part-time job. Basically on this website, on these applications, you could find jobs to work in restaurants. The thing here is that you really need to speak pretty good Korean. You need to be able to talk with the customers, answer the questions, explain them the menu and all of that. So you need to have that level of Korean if you are trying to find a job on this website. Now the thing with these applications is that all the Koreans are also using them. So there is a lot of competition out there. Obviously, a lot of restaurant owners, they prefer Koreans over foreigners because, well, they speak fluent Korean. But some restaurants which are placed in like touristy areas, so like Hongdae, Shincheon, Itaewon, Yeonnam-dong, all these areas where there are a lot of foreign tourists or foreign students living, they also prefer people who speak English in addition to Korean. So being a foreigner in these areas is a plus, definitely a plus, but be ready to get rejected a lot of times. I got rejected, even if I spoke pretty good Korean, I still got rejected because, well, they just didn't want a foreigner. And I totally understand. I mean, we are in Korea, and they would obviously prefer a native Korean because it's more easy for them to work with them. With foreigners, they need to put in more time and effort. So there will be times that you'll get rejected just because you're a foreigner, but I don't think that's because of discrimination. I think it's just business. I mean, it's much easier to do business with a native person. So I suggest that don't get sad, don't get disappointed that you got rejected just because you're a foreigner, blah blah blah. But there are a lot of people who actually call you for interviews. So if you're on the application and you find a job that you like, you go there, you look for the phone number and you send them a message, or on Kakao, or just text messages like,
hey, I'm a foreigner, is it possible for me to apply for this position as well? I am this years old, I'm going to this university, I have this topic level of Korean, blah blah blah, I have this experience.
In very short, in like 4 or 5 sentences, and you send them. I have sent like 20 messages when I was finding my job, and thankfully I got I got called from one of the places, and he was like, oh, do you speak English? Yeah, I speak English. And he's like, oh, nice, can you come for the interview today? And he liked how I worked, and I got hired. So that's how I found my third part-time job, which I'm also still doing. And that is like more of a regular part-time job, so it's like 3 days a week. Before I used to do 6 days a week, which was very hectic, but at that time I didn't really have the scholarship, so I really needed the money. But now since I have the scholarship, I can take some time off, so I work 3 days a week now. Basically every day you are using the same phrases and same words again and again and again, so you will get used to them, you will get fluent in them. It's not really difficult, it's pretty straightforward. So you just need to put in effort to memorize all of the menu and the basic phrases that you need to work. So yeah, that's how I found my third part-time job on I think it was Alba Chongu. Yeah, my advice is that don't get disappointed if they reject you just because you're a foreigner. There are still many people who actually are interested in foreigners, because it could actually make their restaurant stand out from other restaurants where where it's all Koreans working. They're like, oh, this restaurant there's a foreigner working, ooh, what is that? So there are a lot of Korean restaurant owners who think like that, and who would like a foreigner who speaks good Korean. So don't be disappointed, just keep on trying. I would suggest go for ads which are somewhere around the minimum wage, because they are the legit ones. That is how Koreans find part-time jobs, and that is how you can find part-time jobs. And yeah, just explore the applications. The third place where you can find the job is basically at your own university. All the departments, they have their own jobs for the students of that department. It can be a job to like take care of the computer room, or just stay at the reception, or work at the library, and all of those. So there are a lot of jobs that are actually available right in your university, and you don't really need to even get a work permit for these jobs, because it's the university that's paying you. So where to find these jobs is basically just keep in touch with your department head and the people in your department who are doing these jobs. I got the job in our department. I literally just sat in a computer room for 6 hours doing just whatever I wanted, and I was getting paid the minimum wage, which was pretty sweet. I just had to open the door and close the door, and that's kind of it. And I got the job because one of my professors, she recommended me. You know, a lot of these university jobs actually come from professor recommendations. So be kind to your professors, be good to them. Always tell them how you're struggling with money, and they will really help you out. You can also email your international affairs office, because they are always looking for people who can work part-time and who speak foreign languages, because they are usually the ones in charge for exchange students and international students and all of those. So your university actually has a lot of jobs. So university, that's the third place that you should look when you're looking for a job. Actually, it could also be the first place where you're looking for a job, because, well, it's the most accessible place. Another place where you can look for jobs are actually Facebook groups of your university. For example, in Sogang, we have this Sogang University Facebook group, and it is the only group that there is, and it's like it has like thousands of people, like all the graduates, Sogang graduates, current students, all of those are in that group. So it's a huge community, and a lot of people post part-time job openings over there as well. Even I have posted one. So yeah, that is a place where people post very frequently about part-time jobs, so keep a lookout for those as well. And it's also a pretty easy place to start. And the fifth way to get a job is connections. I mean, networks are always a good way to get jobs. So sometimes job opportunities come from your network. So make sure that you have a good network. I actually helped two of my foreign friends to find a job at the same place where I was working. So my Swedish friend and Brazilian friend, they also teach Swedish and Brazilian cooking at the same company where I also teach Indian cooking. So sometimes having good friends and having good connections, having professors who care about you, it actually works pretty well in finding jobs. And don't be shy in asking people if they know if there's a job available or blah blah blah. Everyone is looking for a job. Everyone knows everyone is short of money because we're all students. So don't be shy of asking for jobs or asking for recommendations and all of those. So yeah, those were my tips and tricks and ways to find part-time jobs in South Korea if you're on a D2 or a D4 visa. And if you have any more questions, put them down in the comment box and I'll try to answer all that I can. If you found this video helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. And I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye!